Jerusalem nestles in the heart of the universe, surrounded by hills. Seven walls encircle the city, of silver, of gold, of precious stones, of sapphire, of brilliance, of emerald, and of fire. Her radiance spreads throughout the world. 7 walls and 7 gates: Jaffa Gate, Zion Gate, the Flower Gate, the Lion Gate, Dung Gate, the Damascus Gate, the New Gate, and there were others, closed these many generations. A myriad armies have fought their way to Jerusalem along the highways and up to her gates. The Romans built roads leading to the holy city, along which they marched their legions. The bastion of Lachish stands between hills and plain. The Assyrian king Sennacherib razed the city of Lachish on his way to lay siege to Jerusalem. The fortress of Herodion, outside Bethlehem, was built by King Herod. It is also his place of burial. It became a bastion of rebellion when the people rose up against the Romans. To the south, another Roman road rises from Jericho to Jerusalem. Bab el-Wad, the valley pass to the west of the city, is today the main highway leading from the coastal plain. It is a road which reveres the memory of the fighting convoys who broke through on their way to a besieged Jerusalem during the War of Independence. Around the city's walls lie buried kings, conquerors, and commoners alike. Legend has it that the Mount of Olives is to be the site of the resurrection of the dead on the Day of Judgment. Throughout the generations of the dispersion, Jewish pilgrims chose to be buried on the mount so as to be the first to enter within the walls of the holy city. There are other graves, each one marking an episode in Jerusalem's long history. Graves hewn into the rocky hills which surround the city. To the south of Jerusalem lies the desert, the Judean desert, a place of refuge in times gone by for the persecuted and for the hermit. Greek Orthodox monks built the monastery of Mar Sabar in memory of a monk who lived in the region in the 6th century. It is said that God created Adam from the clay of a Hebron field. Here the patriarchs are buried, and there are those who claim that Hebron's other name, Kiryat Arba, the citadel of 4, recalls Israel's forefathers who lie buried here: Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah. The tombs of the patriarchs are held sacred to 3 religions. The lower levels of the wall date from the time of the Second Temple. The upper levels have stood for hundreds of years. Above the grotto stands a mosque, which was once a Crusader church. For generations, the Jews were forbidden to enter and pray at the tombs of their forefathers. Nevertheless, Hebron knew a thriving Jewish community, which preserved the study of the law during hundreds of years, until it was wiped out some tens of years ago. Hebron, once the capital of King David's kingdom, remains today the second most important town in the Judean hills. Its market serves the farmers for miles around. Within the town, the glassmakers' quarter, upholding an ancient tradition of craftsmanship. Bethlehem, birthplace of David the King. The Christian faith holds Bethlehem to be the birthplace of Jesus. The Church of the Nativity is divided into three, each wing under the protection of a differing Christian sect. The central chapel and the most holy belongs to the Greek Orthodox Church. Close by the church, the olive wood craftsman. On the outskirts of Bethlehem, the tomb of Rachel. History lives on in the Judean hills. The techniques of watering the fields, of sowing and of reaping, have hardly changed since the days of the fall of the Second Temple. To the north of Jerusalem, Nebi Samuel, the final resting place of Samuel the prophet. The Muslim mosque was built within a Crusader fortress. Alongside the history and tradition of the region, new Jewish villages have sprung up, kibbutzim, farming settlements and recreation spots. Modernity comes to Judea's fields. One of its first tasks, the planting of trees on hills which have stood bare for generations. Irrigation has forever been one of the region's greatest problems. In and around Jerusalem can be found the remains of vast and impressive water systems hewn into the hills. Wadi Kelt, Givon, Solomon's Pools, and the Shiloh Conduit, which brought water to the Holy City by means of an underground tunnel. A pilgrim relates that the waters of the Shiloah would refrain from rippling on the Sabbath day. The Mount of Moriah. Here Abraham prepared to sacrifice his only son Isaac. Here the temple was built. With the Muslim conquest, two mosques were built on the site, the Mosque of Omar and the Mosque of Al-Aqsa. When the Crusaders conquered the land, the mosques became places of Christian prayer. Circumscribed within its walls for thousands of years, the city has burst its bounds and spread out across the surrounding hills. Amongst the first to move out from within the walls were the Jews who built the communities of Sha'ananim and Yamin Moshe. The city of David has always been the heart of Judaism and of Israel. Here are the institutions of state and people, of culture and of learning. Here, past, present and future intermingle. Jerusalem, a city spread across the hills.